Hello, hello. I know I'm behind. Where have the videos been? Okay, so I got busy. Life was lifing, and I never want to come on here and do things out of stress, resistance, and resentment. So I'm now back. I'm ready to catch up on episodes 6 and 7 of Paradise on Hulu. I believe next week is the finale of season 1, and congratulations to all of the cast, crew, and creative team involved, because Paradise on Hulu has officially been renewed for season 2. Yes, go Dan Fogelman, go team. Anyway, without further ado, let me dive in and watch some episodes. I just watched Paradise episode 6. We have a lot to unpack. And then right after this, I have to watch episode 7. This episode feels like we're getting into the pressure cooker of what this season is going to be. So I literally click record right after I finish the episode. So I don't even have a split second to digest. Me recording these videos is my digestion time. So let me sip some water. All right, the title of episode 6 is called You Asked for Miracles. Initially, I thought of the title in terms of the miracle of Paradise, this underground bunker world, as well as the miracles of what's happening with the skywriting in this episode, and then the actual miracle being those flares that they got in the plane that shoot up in the sky that give you the illusion of RPGs and missiles. Those miracles, which is interesting, and how we are defining miracle in this dystopian world. Episode opens up and we are finally introduced in more detail to Xavier's motivation, aka his wife. You know, like why does he have this search for the truth? Because he's haunted by the fact that his wife didn't make it on the plane, and what happened to her and what happened to the world, and the guilt of being the survivor parent. So we see Mr. Collins, aka Xavier, and his wife, who corrects us and formally introduces herself to us through this correction with the principal as Dr. Rogers Collins. My initial reaction to that was, yes, overqualified Black woman, you better tell them that you are a doctor. You better tell them that you are a doctor because you worked for that title. So don't let these white people dismiss you, okay? Let them give you your honors and give you your flowers and call you Dr. Rogers Collins. Do we know what kind of doctor she is? We know she has a doctorate. She a professor? What is her mode of specialization? Like, do we know this yet? To be continued. We learn that Presley, like she follows in the footsteps of her mom. Then we have this interesting moment where she's having a conversation with Xavier, and Xavier is basically like, why did you have to make a scene, blah, blah, blah. Which, as a Black woman, I was like, excuse me? What you mean she was making a scene? We will not diminish for these white people. We will not diminish our Black girl magic. We will not diminish our light. Shut it, Xavier. She replies with this amazing comeback that I had to write down because something told me that this was important and I had to remember this, and I was correct. She says, sometimes making a scene is the only thing you need to do. She carries on by adding, one day, someone is going to force you to make a scene. And then we cut back and forth with present day, which I thought was really nice parallel. Okay. We see Robinson driving to, as I assumed at the time, to get the weapons. And I was like, it was her and someone else. And I was like, wait, there are multiple cars down in the bunker? How big is this? Okay, 25,000 people were picked to be in this world. I cannot conceptualize how big this underground bunker world is. But the fact that they have cars and modes of transportation at least for like the security and the VIPs that are like the billionaires and whoever's in charge of whatever, right? How do they get all these cars down there? Is it like you order your car and it comes in like a shipment and they fly down like into this mountain with these, like, how did they get the cars down there? And how many cars are in this world? That's what I wanted to know. Find out that Sinatra installed cameras in her home. And I'm like, ew. So Sinatra was hella creeping on that sex in the shower moment that we were introduced to in episode 3. Gross, Sinatra. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary friends, we have secured the weapons. So first of all, remember, I think 2 episodes ago, I was like, hold on. If Pace killed the people above the surface, where are they keeping the weapons? Because they had to hand in the weapons. And then the last episode, we found out that the president told Robinson. Again, what is Robinson's first name? Because I went and checked IMDb and she's just known as Robinson's. I was like, what's her first name? Anyway, she finds out from the president, who she was sleeping with, which has been established, that there are weapons. He tells her where the weapons are. She goes and what? With these SUVs, and they go and find the weapons. And not only do they find the weapons, it's like there's dozens and hundreds of weapons. When you're reading a play or when you're reading a novel, as soon as they have established the fact that there is a gun on stage, it's always a matter of time of like, oh, who is going to reach for the gun? And when is the gun going to be shot off? So I'm seeing all of these weapons in this room, and my mind is instantly like, oh, the fact that we've introduced not just like 6 guns, it's like dozens of hundreds of possibly thousands of guns. I'm just like, oh, the shit's about to go down. My question is also, why do they have so many weapons in this underground bunker? Is it the fear that something would go down in future? Is this our human nature that like eventually we have to be policed and have some sort of structure? So having those weapons is like a contingency plan. But at the same time, if we didn't have those weapons, there wouldn't be the threat of violence. But those weapons are there. Therapist lady meets up with Xavier in the diner. He's like, tell your girl I'm coming for her. Takes off his surveillance wristband and he's done. And I'm like, oh, that's fun. I love Die Hard. It's like one of my favorite movies. And yes, it is a Christmas movie. My brain is like, Die Hard reference. Let me save that for later. Which later on, when Sinatra realizes the guns are missing, they're left with the note, now I have all the guns. Ho, ho, ho. Which I think is genius. Hal recommends that Xavier watches Die Hard because he thinks he could learn a lot from Hans Gruber. In this present day, Sinatra plays into Xavier's shenanigans as Hans Gruber and reboots the entire Sky system out of fear. Again, she's operating out of fear. And what? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. The quote, sometimes making a scene is the only thing you need to do, also comes back when Xavier gives the pep talk to all of the people in what I am calling his resistance team. So it's been established that in previous episodes, like one of the nicknames for Sinatra is like they assumed her name is Sinatra because she wears a lot of hats. It's also been established that she's been like pulling out her hair a lot. I don't know if it's stress or a medical thing, but has anyone else noticed that like each and every episode, aside from like the stress that she's embodying and she's high strung and pulling all the moves and go kill that person and right? And she's like very cutthroat. She's got like liver spots all over herself. She is not well. I would like to know more about this lady's health. She is carrying quite the burden. This show has introduced us to strong-ass black women. Again, It is still Black History Month, so I love that, and I want to just celebrate that fact. Dr. Collins as brazen, outspoken advocate. We've got Robinson as played by Chris Marshall, badass with a gun, like searching for the truth. And then we also have Presley herself. But Presley, that girl has me like an auntie yelling at my screen. Good old sweet little Jane. Jane is a silent assassin. Every time I see her face, I'm like, that girl, I knew I didn't like you. Anyway, silent killer, just going for her little ice cream run. I'm just like, what's she up to? Why is she getting ice cream? Back to Presley. Her braids, this episode was laid. She had the little like bejeweled and the little rubber bands. And I'd seen a comment about this on Threads the other day, but now I want to know. I'm like, who is doing the braids down in the bunker? And who thought that it was important, and which it is because black hair. Who thought it was important to bring the braiding hair down into this world? And is the beauty supply in the same place as the liquor supply? These are very important questions that I want to know. Because every time I have to pack for something, I always have to keep in mind having my hair products. Having access to my hair products, especially as a black girl. A lot of maintenance goes into getting our hair laid and done right. Doesn't matter if it's you're wearing your hair natural, you wearing wigs, you wearing braids, you doing twists, you manipulating hair shampoo, conditioner, styling products, combs, brushes, all the things, rollers. I don't think it's practical because she has to have her hair done every 4 weeks? Who is doing hair in the bunker? Is she doing her own hair? Anyway, I'm going off a tangent. Okay. The lights go out. Yippee-ki. Yay. Motherfucker. Hans Gruber moment. Chef's kiss. Beautiful moment. The people are freaking out. And who's being prioritized? The rich people. The billionaires. Because somehow, even in this world, there is a hierarchical structure. Which is something interesting to consider for the times we live in now. Should this scenario be real? How are we going to fight back? What are we going to do? I feel like it's going to build in episode 7. Feel like it's going to build in episode 7. Presley and Cal's son, they finally get the grandpa to unlock the iPad. And they find out the truth about the people on the surface. I'm like, yes! But you know who still needs to know the truth about the people on the surface? Xavier. And Kyle's son is giving a speech about it. And good old motherfucking Jane walks up to Presley. Presley being a black girl who has such faith in the world and who's a girl's girl. So Jane is just like, I don't want to be alone right now. Again, Presley is like, yeah, I'll go with you. We'll go eat ice cream together. First of all, Presley, why did we leave the safe house? Why? Your dad told you to be safe, but instead you left because you needed to get answers about your mom. Girl, bad idea. Second of all, she's out in public with the ex Cal's son. 2, girl, anything could be going down. What are you doing? No, stay safe. And then 3, for some reason, she thinks it's a good idea to go with Jane, who is much older than her, to cater to Jane's feelings and be a mammy to Jane and take care of Jane, which is such a black girl and a black woman thing, to put your own feelings aside and then suddenly want to help and support and cater to a non-black person's feelings. But even race aside, like just the age thing is just wild to me. It's like, girl, you don't need to be going with her to grieve. Like, stay where you, what are we doing? And also, you haven't told your dad where you are in the midst of all this chaos. So yeah, my girl Presley, I was yelling at the computer screen. She done got herself kidnapped, and I hate that. I hate that for her. I hate that for her. Xavier up against Sinatra. Sinatra dangles the little carrot that, like, your wife is alive. I can help you find her. I can help you find her. And meanwhile, Dr. Tarabi is all up in the mix and somehow involved with her. Can we talk about how Dr. Tarabi has to be the worst therapist in the world? Because allegedly she helped Sinatra get better, but like she didn't, because Sinatra is a worse person. And Dr. Gabrielle's like, we must talk. Let us talk. We can talk it out. Like, no, the time for talking is over. Anyway, this video too long. I've gone over time. So sorry. Let me go watch episode 7. Okay, see you soon. Bye.